Hey, it's Joe Glines from the Automator, and I got another interesting idea for you today. Let me share my desktop. I was loading some of the libraries into Claude that we use a lot, and it occurred to me, even though I know which ones I use a lot, empirically, I was kind of curious which libraries we've leveraged in our S drive, which is the scripts we develop for all you guys and everyone. And so what I did was I first started off using GrepWin, and I looked for anything that had an include in it, at the beginning, because sometimes they were commented out, and I just wanted a nice clean to not have includes that were commented out. I only looked at AutoHotkey files on my S drive. Now, GrepWin is cool because it searches inside the files, right? And here, you can see it searched 10,673 files. It skipped 112,000 because they're not AutoHotkey. That's the first thing, is that filters it down. It found nearly 6,600, over 6,600 matches in 2,781 files. And then there was actually, I guess I cleared something, because let me see if I can hit search again. It'll take a bit. But there was a total of 12 or 13,000 actual matches exported. When what I did was I right-click here and export the text. So yeah, because you'll see in this file, all right, finished. And with GrepWin, you have two different views. You can look at the files. So this is the list of the files, which in this case, I don't really care about. I care about the content. And so what's interesting is, so there were 6,600 matches in 27 files. I thought they were somewhere else because I know I got, but there was multiple items in a given file. So I can select all, right click, it takes a little while even on my computer, which is very fast. And say copy text results. So that copies this inner column of the text that was matched that query. Now, what I realized, and we can see it here, is sometimes there's like a root directory, like there's a path to the script file. Sometimes it was actually like the actual include, the direct path, like here's an actual path, right? So I wanted to only get the name of either the class or function that it's calling to. So I first went to Claude and had it write me a script, but it was breaking on the regex stuff. I went to OpenAI and it created a Python script that did it better, got it closer, and then I pushed that into Cite. And between Cite and Excel, I was doing search replacing, and I got it to where there's over 11,000 lines of pretty clean data, right? So this is really what I wanted. I know I could have removed the less than and greater than sign and just left it with the name, but I liked having the here to remind me we're working on some sort of an include, right? So let me go ahead and save that just because it looks like I made a change. So then I took it back into Excel and created a pivot table. So I pushed it into a pivot table and then sorted it by the counts. So you bring it, I brought this into the rows and then back into the forms, and that gives me each thing uniquely across here with the counts of stuff. It gives me idea. So UIA was by a pretty big margin the largest one that we've used as includes, and our Notify V2 class, which we use a lot. That's a really great class. We use it constantly to notify users. Was the second most. This Y unit, which honestly I don't remember what that is. I'll have to ask Irfian or Isaias what that is. Our script objects has all the information about the script, and if there's an update in the path and the other information. JSON and CJSON, I think this is Geek Dude's JSON library, and this might be Coco's, I don't remember. So I'm just giving you guys an idea. Also, this is of course for me, so this is the way I can decide what I want to push up into Claude. And because some of these, this one I definitely pushed up. I don't remember if I pushed up UIA yet. I might have. The CJSON is one I think I did push it up there. I don't use this default settings anymore. That was just a V1, and I've switched entirely over to V2. The Space 64 is another great one if you want to take a picture and encode it in a way that you don't have to save it as a file. That's one use of it, but like binary data, you can do that with. The standard out, that's great for connecting to programs that are running and getting the output from them, which it's kind of a masked hidden thing. People don't teach you about it, but it's a really great thing to be able to do. Here's our original V1 Notify version that Maestria made years and years ago. That's what the V2 one's based off of. That's interesting. I don't see, there's got to be a difference because the Excel wouldn't have put those in separately. That seems a little, oh, hey, come on. I'm not seeing it, but there's a difference. Okie dokie. So that one actually should have been counted higher. And include Refinement. That's our browser tool. UA browser, back to Desktop with UIA again. Triggers, another great class. I don't know if we've actually created that as a download. Our FFMPEG class we use in a lot of our scripts to manipulate FFMPEG. GDI plus library. Yeah, we ended up creating our own, but maybe there's a one that we might switch to now because I don't know if we finished everything on it. But you get the idea. I'm going to scroll down here, and here's our Claude one for the OpenAI, not an OpenAI, but for doing AI stuff. And we have an OpenAI library in here as well. We have Scintilla class. Oh, hey, 61 people. This is another automated tool I have. But Scintilla controls. Our Excel library, I guess it's not included. I use it a lot, but it's not actually in our library file. Like I just use it for one-off scripts, but those aren't on our S drive. GDI plus, a different version of GDI plus, screen clipping, SQLite, yeah. So again, I'm just going to scroll down here so you get an idea in case any of these that some of them you can probably find on the forum, some of them are ours, and some of them will be just specific to a given script. Because now let's get down to where there's like 10, and then we'll kind of jump back to the overall idea. Okay, so you get the idea, right? So very cool. Again, in Claude, what I do, if we look at a given file, like let me look at this FFmpeg file. In it, I make sure, and actually this one I may have uploaded, I think I uploaded this one, or before I had the insight, and actually, wait, hold on, did I see it there? Yeah, here we go. So the dev path, I put this path to my local version of that library in its own file. So ironically, this path is the path to this file on my computer. And I give it to Claude and I tell it instructions to say, hey, this file, look for dev path in here. And when you need to use the FFmpeg library, don't give me back the FFmpeg file, just refer to it with an include. Right, so it saves a lot of bandwidth going back and forth, and it learns the functions that we have, right? So these are the libraries. You can see I have 9 in here. I've already used up quite a bit, but this Excel library is 2,345 lines, right? I was going to say, because that one has a lot of comments in it, but I really truly think AI benefits by having comments in your code because it helps it understand what the functions do. We kind of think AI is, when it comes to programming, is crazy smart, but it has to solve what those functions do, right? So if you leave in comments telling it what it does, it'll probably use that and use it more accurately and leverage it more because it really figures out what it does. So I don't think I'm going to clean that file up, but you can see most of these other files are not very big, right? That was a really big one. But yeah, hopefully you get the idea, and you might go check out some of those libraries. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, please like the video. It really helps me out. Have an awesome day. Cheers.